Hello everyone, and thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel, Get Crafty with Sally. My name is Sally Poole. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and today I will be showing you how I made this pretty little Easter card. There is today and tomorrow left on Celebration, and this is again some of the beautiful Flight and Airy designer series paper that you can get free with a $50 purchase. So if you haven't got any of that yet, get your order placed before the end of the month and time runs out. I am using the sentiment from the Easter Lilies set, Peace I Give Unto You. This is a beautiful set. If you don't have it already, you should take a look at it. Here is the Celebration catalog. As I said, it's going to run through tomorrow, and then that's it. The Flight and Airy Designer Series paper is on page 6. I really do suggest that you get some of it. It really is beautiful. Here's the mini catalog. This is January through April 2024. I am using the Easter Lily set, just the stamp sentiment from it. You can find this set on page 26 in here. And remember, if you buy the stamps and the dies together as a bundle, you get 10% off the price. I'm also using the paper butterfly accents from the Perennial Lavender Suite. They are on page 23. They are really fun to play with. If you haven't ordered those yet and played with them, you should do so. So here is what you're going to need to make this card. And this is pretty basic. I have to show you all the retired dies that I've used. So you'll need a piece of 5.5 by 8.5. I've used basic white for this one, for the card base. You'll need a piece of about 4.5 by 5.5 to cut the outer circle, the larger circle. And my inspiration for this card, I don't know if you all remember the panoramic sugar eggs for Easter. They came in a box and they were hollow in the middle and all decorated, looked like icing, and they had flowers, and then there was a little scene in the middle. That's kind of what I had in mind while I was doing this card. So I wanted this to look like one of those eggs. The next thing that you're going to need is a piece of designer series paper about 4 inches by 5 inches. You'll just need a couple little scraps of basic white. One is for the layer that I stamped the sentiment on, and one is for this little piece around the center. And then I've also used one butterfly from the paper butterfly accents, and I'll show you what I did with that. I am using some retired dies. I have the layering ovals framelits dies. This is an older set. It's awesome. If you have it, don't get rid of it. If you can find it somewhere, grab it. I use it a lot, and it's one that I'll never part with. And I think Stampin' Up! Should have, on a regular basis, a set of dies in ovals, circles, and rectangles at least, and then possibly squares. That's, I just think, standard stuff that they should offer all the time. I'm also using the Framelits Ovals collection. These are bigger, and they do have 1, large die that is scalloped, and that's what I used to cut the larger back piece. So I'm not going to cut all those pieces, but in case you don't know how to do that, find, the size that you want, the size of pieces that you want. Here's an example. Here's this little piece that goes around the center in the middle. And I have just taken there's a straight edge oval die and a scalloped edge oval, oval die. Centered them. Tried to get this one centered so that it was even on all sides. Put 2 pieces of tape on it, and that's how I cut that piece. I did the same thing with the designer series paper, different dies, of course. And I should mention that I always do make a PDF with all of the sizes of the paper that I've used and the supplies. So I will include the exact dies that I've used to cut these pieces out in that PDF. You can find the PDF below this video in the description box. There's a link to my blog. So let's first take I'm going to grab the card base, and you can either do what I'm going to do, or you can cut another piece of cardstock and emboss it. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I have just embossed the front of the card base. Like I said, you can cut another piece if you want and emboss it, but it is possible to emboss it like this in your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Let me interject one thing while I'm thinking about it. 3 weeks ago, I did have a giveaway for this perennial lavender card, and the giveaway was on my video. If you left a comment below the video, I did a drawing from the names that left comments, and the winner is at April Sherry 1616. If you can send me an email, contact me at dannydog75@hotmail.com. Give me your mailing address, and I will put that in the mail for you. Okay, so back to this. Let me grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And even though, let's see, I am going to use the Distress Tile embossing folder for the card base piece. I don't think this is a 3D embossing folder. It's not very thick. But I could not get it to emboss with the instructions for just a regular embossing one, so I did use this one that goes with the 3D embossing folders. Hopefully that makes sense. So here is my card base. This is going to be the front. So I'm going to take the front and I'm going to lay it in my embossing folder and try to get it straight. And I'm just going to line this edge up here, the fold score line, with the edge of the embossing folder. Then I'm going to take my plate 1, and I'm going to put my embossing folder with my paper in it on there, and then my plate 4. Lay that on there and try not to let my paper scoot around in my embossing folder, and I'm just going to run that through, and you only need to run it through halfway. You're going to hear it click. That is where I got to the edge of that folder. So I'm going to back it out and then take it out of the embossing folder, and then we've got our embossed front. So let me get this machine out of the way. And let's, while we've got this, flip it over and give it a good crease. Okay, so we've got that piece. And then this is the piece that I cut with, I don't know what I did with it, but I cut with the large scallop die from the Framelits ovals. So I've cut this, and I embossed it with the Cane Weave embossing folder. And I thought I had an extra one of these, so I'm going to kind of have to skip around here a little bit. I've also cut just a little oval with one of the oval framelits, and I will let you know which one that is. I'm going to glue it to the center of this Cane Weave embossed piece. I'm still hunting because I thought I had another one of these so I could show you this process. But anyway, all I did was glue this oval to this piece, and I actually, to stamp this, I laid this where I want it. You could probably glue it if you want, but if you do mess up your stamping, you're going to waste some pieces. So then I'm going to take this piece, line it up where I think the center is and everything is even. And what I did was I took a pencil. This is before I stamped it. I took a pencil and I drew around that edge a little bit so I would know where the center of that little area was, because you don't want to stamp it outside of that or it's not going to fit into that little oval. So I've stamped this, let it dry. Now I'm going to take let me grab my eraser. Take an eraser and erase this pencil mark. I did stamp this with VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. It's really black. It's not an ink that you want to stamp and then try to color with, because it will smudge. But it does stamp sentiments really nice. But to erase that line around there, I wanted to make sure it was good and dry. So now we can put some glue on the back of our big oval. And I'm going to put a good amount on here because there's lots of nooks and crannies in this embossed piece. And I want to make sure that it gets glued down really well. So place this on your card front. Try to get it even on the top and bottom and both sides. And then I'm going to take my designer series paper and then this little piece, and this piece is embossed with, what did I do with it? This is the Ornate Floral embossing folder, and I believe it is retired. Grab my chair, and we're going to glue this little, I'm going to call it icing piece, to the front of the designer series paper piece, oval. And it's got lots of little nooks and crannies in it as well. And I'm going to stand back up so I can make sure, hopefully, to get this straight. I hate covering up these birds. So you kind of have to move it around a little bit and tilt it to get it to cover up all the edges of the paper underneath it. So we'll give that a press. And then we'll put some glue on the back of the designer series paper. It's a blustery day here in Oregon. Pretty gray and gloomy and windy. And as you can hear, the dogs are sound asleep. So we'll try to center this oval piece as best as we can. And then what I did with the butterfly, and I used this one. These are so much fun to play with. I actually took a Stampin' Blend brush and some fresh freesia ink. And I'm going to put a little bit on the body. And then just the tips of the wings. You can do just this step if you want. You can do the next step if you want. You can leave it white. You can color the whole thing. You can put different colors on it if you want. What I did, grab my chair again. I went and got my little container of dazzling diamonds out, another retired item, one of my favorite products. And I actually got my reverse tweezers, and I've got a Zig two-way glue, and this is awesome glue if you've got like a larger area to cover than the little glue pins. You can push it down to kind of activate it, and then just start coloring that glue on there. And then I'm going to, hopefully you can see this, sprinkle my dazzling diamonds on there. And then I'm going to set this aside and let it dry, and then I'll do this bottom piece. but I do have one that I have done ahead of time that hopefully is dry. Let me put the lid on my diamonds. And I'm going to flip this over because it's got glue on it. So here's the one that is finished. So I'm going to take a little bit of Tombow glue. Goodness, Willow is totally out of it. And then I'm going to place this butterfly up above my sentiment. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add a few iridescent pearls, basic jewels. There's all kinds of different gems and jewels you could add to this that would look nice. So let's just put one there. And I'll put one down here by the sentiment. And I will put one on that flower by that bird. So that is all that there is to this card. Let me know what you think about it, or if you have any questions or comments. So here's the one that I showed you at the beginning. This was a different sheet of paper out of that same pack. So let me get this out of the way. And then I've also done one in Fresh Freesia. So the card base is Fresh Freesia. That actually shows up the sugar egg a little better. This one is in soft sea foam. And I also, when I did the blending on the butterfly, I used soft sea foam. And then this one is just of the oval shape. I didn't use the whole rectangle card base, but it is one piece of paper, and it does fold, it does stand up, so you could do that if you wanted. And how I did this was I just took I think I used a 4.5 by 11 piece of paper, 4 1/4 cut in a little close to get these edges in here. Then I scored it at 5.5. Let me make sure I'm telling you that right. Scored it at 5.5, and then I took this big scallop die again, and I laid it on here. Let me see if I can show you exactly where I put it. So I don't know if you can see the little kind of an opening at the top. So those 3 little scallop pieces are not cutting the paper. So that allows you to get that little fold piece there. Obviously it's flat across there and not continuing the oval, but that's fine. I think it looks great. These are so pretty. I hope you'll try them. So let me know what you think about them. Like I said, jump in on Celebration and get those items that you've been looking for before it's over. Tomorrow's the last day. So anyway, thank you for stopping by and spending some time with me. I really appreciate it. If you're getting anything out of my videos, please give me the thumbs up, share them with your friends and family, and I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.